Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a bit since I've uploaded a video with a bit of significant content, but I'm back. I hope everybody's gearing up and excited for Ramadan. It starts day after tomorrow, and I know I am. Alright, so today's video is going to be all about schools, and I'm going to come at this from two different points of view. I'm going to come at this from the point of view of a parent and from the point of view of someone looking for a job. So the first half of the video will be general tips on if you are moving to Egypt with your child, how can you go about selecting a school, and just kind of giving you general information about putting your child in a school here in Egypt. The second half of the video, I'm going to be aiming more at people who are looking to teach in Egypt and the things that you need to know before you start the process of looking for a job. Okay, so let's just get into it. So, first thing you need to know is that within Egypt, you can't just kind of walk into any school and say, I want my kid to go here. There's an application process. And so you have to start this process at least a year in advance. There is an admissions time of the year, and usually that's between November and February. And you need to remember that there are many families out there looking to put their children in schools. So it can be at times a bit competitive, especially if you're wanting your child to go to one of the more elite schools. So you need to start at least a year in advance. If you are going to be moving here in the fall of 2021, you should have already done your job and already applied to the school, if I'm being honest. Like, most admissions options have closed by now with the great schools or with the good schools. So just please keep that in mind. Start in advance. The next thing that you need to know is that you have to have a good idea of how much you're going to be willing to spend on tuition. Now, there are levels of schools, which is going to start with your national schools, your language schools, and then your international schools. If you're coming from the West, generally most people that I've met tend to want to put their child in international schools. But be wary. Just because a school has international before its title does not necessarily mean that it is an actual quality school. There are many terrible schools that have such and such international academy. Okay, so be wary of that, okay? The next thing that you need to look into is the school itself. Before you commit to going through the process of interviewing and paying the application fee and the interviews and all of that, go take a tour of the school to make sure that the facility is up to your standards. Ask to kind of pass by and maybe observe for a couple of minutes a class and how it's working. Like, make sure that this school is going to fit your your standards, because you are going to be paying a lot. And lower quality international schools can be around 50,000 Egyptian pounds a year per kid. And then the better schools, the ones who are going to be the same quality and level of education that you're going to be getting in the United States, are going to be around 100,000 Egyptian pounds minimum. Guys, I'm so sorry that my phone is going off. It's someone's messaging me. I'm so sorry. Continuing. All right, so you need to be willing or make a decision. How much are you willing to pay? Because it is quite different. In the West, you don't have to pay for public education, for a good quality education. Whereas here, fortunately, it is one of the more expensive things about living here. The cost of living here in general is quite cheap, but you will have to pay a lot in order for your child to get a good education. It's just the way that it is, okay? And my final tip is specifically for those who have children with special needs. Please be aware that there, in all honesty, aren't very many schools who are doing what they should in order to accommodate students with special needs. Okay, so before moving here, make sure that you have found somewhere that there will be an IEP set up, and they will receive their accommodations and the services that they need for their disability. Egypt is still transitioning. It's getting better. There are more and more centers opening up all over Cairo that help. Even, I'm talking about early intervention centers, everything that are opening up, particularly in Maadi. But we're still in that developing stage. You know, the Egyptians are only just now starting to come around to the acceptance of the fact that, that ADHD really is a thing. So please keep that in mind, that if you do have a child with a severe disability or something that needs a lot of attention, that you might have a difficult time finding a school that can properly accommodate them. All right, now, switching gears. If you are someone who wants to come and live in Egypt and you want to work here as a teacher, it's not as easy as it seems. I get message after message after message of people saying, I speak English really well. Can I get a job? Can I go and teach? 20, 25 years ago, sure enough, if you spoke English like a native and you had a passport from the West, like from the UK or Canada or the US, sure enough, you could walk in and get a job. But it's not that way anymore. In order to work at a good school where you're going to be paid well and treated well, you're going to have the credentials in order to be qualified to work at these schools, okay? That means you probably, if you're coming from the United States or Canada, you're going to need a teaching certification or a master's degree in education in order for them to even take you seriously. And the best way, once you have those qualifications that make you eligible to work in these schools, the best way to find a job is to go through a job fair or Search Associates, which is a platform for people who are looking to teach internationally. It's the biggest one in the world. So what you'll do is you will upload all of your credentials, your references, everything into this platform. And once they've seen that you have everything that's required, you are then given access, and you've paid your fee, you're given access to a database of international schools around the world. And this is where these schools place the vacancies and set up interviews. Now there are a lot of other fairs as well. I didn't use Search Associates. I used the University of Northern Iowa's teaching fair, which is a very, very large teaching fair in the United States. That's how I found my position. I went through their website. I had an initial interview that we did via Skype, and then I actually went to the fair just to kind of meet them before I signed my contract. And then I loved everything that, once I met them, it kind of like sealed the deal that this is who I really want to work with. And I went through my contract and I signed it. So just keep in mind that it's not just as simple as having a foreign passport and speaking English. You have to have the background to back it up, and that these pathways through these fairs and through the Search Associates are going to be the best way to find a job. Now keep in mind also that you might not find a job as easily with only 1 year experience. Generally, most schools like a couple of years, usually 3 years of experience before they'll really take you seriously. But these days, with the pandemic and a serious lack of teachers, I see a lot of schools that are being very flexible. So use this as an opportunity to get your foot in the door. Okay, my last suggestion for you is that before you sign a contract, when they present you with an initial contract, before you sign anything, make sure that you read through it with a fine-tooth comb. Make sure that they are offering you things that you can live up to, that you find are doable for you. If they're offering you living quarters or an apartment, ask to see pictures of that apartment. Just make sure that everything that they're giving you within your contract is something that you can live up to and that you find okay. Cut. And my last piece of advice is that once you are presented with an offer from a school, make sure that you read through it carefully and that you're okay with everything. If they are offering you, a place to stay, make sure that it's in a place that you find is up to standard, and even ask maybe to see pictures of where you would be living. Make sure that there are no clauses added into your contract that are kind of vague. Ask for clarification of things. There's no harm in that. Just make sure that you know what you're getting into with your contract, and don't necessarily sign or, accept the very first offer that's thrown your way. Okay? Just be careful. Alright guys, I hope that this video was helpful for you. I don't know what it is, I can't talk today. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I hope you guys are doing great. Please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe. And if you have more specific questions that are related to your individual circumstances, definitely reach out and talk to me on my Instagram. I do read my messages, all of them that come through. So if you do message me, I will reply, I promise. Alright guys, have a great Ramadan, and I will see you next time. Bye.